Good morning, everybody. It is February 17th, 2023. It is 11:19 in the morning. Okay, this is part two of Sweet Valley Twins Best Friends. I forgot where I was. Okay. I think this is where I was. Okay. Absolutely. I know I'm better than the other kids. Maybe I'll be a famous ballerina someday. I'm going to practice a whole lot. Jessica Elizabeth said suddenly, I have great news. Don't tell me we're finally getting our own phone. Elizabeth laughed. Even better. Mr. Bowman is going to let us start a newspaper just for the sixth grade. I asked him today, and he put me in charge. You could write a gossip column or something. Caroline Pierce would be better at that. She knows every drop of gossip practically before it happens. She even knows about the 7th and 8th graders. How about fashion or TV? Jessica looked bored and shook her head. No. You mean you don't want to write for it? Elizabeth was shocked. She and Jessica always did things together. They dressed alike, they shared a room, they watched the same programs on TV, they went shopping together, they were best friends. I just don't think I'll have time, that's all, Jessica said casually. Elizabeth tried to feel disappointed, but it would feel awfully strange to do something so important without Jessica involved. Well, I think the paper will be great, she said, but I know you're busy. Okay, big sister. Elizabeth smiled. It was one of their favorite jokes. She was only 4 minutes older than Jessica, but that still made her the big sister. Besides, she was the one in charge. She had to remind Jessica to do practically everything, plus help her with her math, and pick up after her. Where would Jessica be without her? The girls reached their corner, turned down the driveway to their big split level house, and let themselves in through the kitchen door. Usually they were the first ones home. Both their parents had jobs. Their mother worked part time at Sweet Valley Design, and their father headed a busy law practice. Their older brother, Stephen, was a freshman at Sweet Valley High. Sometimes he stayed after school for basketball practice. But just at that moment, he came in, slamming the kitchen door behind him and throwing his knapsack on the floor. What's wrong with you? Asked Jessica as Stephen rummaged angrily through the refrigerator. None of your business, he snapped. Elizabeth and Jessica rolled their eyes. Practically from the first day Stephen started high school, he'd been a royal pain. The twins sat down at the kitchen table with a package of Oreo cookies while Stephen slumped down in a chair with a giant slice of cake. Cute outfits, he said, smirking as he looked from one sister to another. What's the matter with them? Elizabeth wanted to know. Nothing, Stephen said. If you like having double vision, don't you think you're a little old to be dressing the same? No, Jessica said. No wonder nobody can tell you apart. They can too, Jessica said, but Elizabeth kept quiet. Kids at school were always staring at her and saying, Jessica? Elizabeth looked across the table at Jessica. It was like looking into a mirror. She saw her own blonde hair pulled back into a ponytail, her blue-green eyes and long lashes, and even the dimple in her left cheek. She also saw the same white blouse and red sweater vest, and she knew that under the table were the denim skirt and white knee socks and running shoes she was wearing. But so what? Dressing alike was part of the fun of being twins. It would take a detective to know which one of you was which, mumbled Stephen, his mouth full of cake. Okay, we get the point, said Elizabeth, but we like dressing alike. We're the only identical twins at Sweet Valley Middle School. Stephen started to say something else, but the phone rang, and he and Jessica both dashed for it, knocking over their chairs. Jessica got there first. "Hello?" Elizabeth could hear her say breathlessly. "Oh, hi." Jessica cradled the phone against her ear and walked into the dining room, stretching the cord as far as it would go. "That was Lila Fowler," Jessica announced, strolling back into the kitchen. She sounded as though she had been talking to a member of the royal family. "Who cares?" Stephen said. Then he got up and sauntered out of the kitchen. Elizabeth knew all about Lila Fowler. She had the biggest wardrobe in Sweet Valley. Her father was rich and brought her everything she wanted. Jessica had been spending a lot of time with her lately, although Elizabeth couldn't understand why. "She's in the Unicorn Club," Jessica told her sister. "What's that?" Elizabeth asked. "Did Lila's father buy her a unicorn?" "This is nothing to joke about," Jessica declared in a superior tone. "It's called the Unicorn Club because unicorns are beautiful and special, and everyone likes them. Just like the girls in the club, hardly any sixth graders get to join. But Lila's in, and Ellen Reitman, too. They're so lucky. Of course, Janet Howell is Lila's cousin." "And who's Janet Howell?" Elizabeth asked. Jessica sighed. "Don't you know anything? Janet Howell is the only prettiest, most important girl in the 8th grade. She's the president of the club." Elizabeth leaned forward. "Listen, if you're really so up on everything," she said seriously, "you ought to write for the newspaper." "No," Jessica said, "and please don't ask me again, Lizzie." "Sorry." Elizabeth changed the subject. "Let's go start our homework, okay?" "You go ahead," Jessica told her. "I want to practice ballet." Her blue-green eyes began to sparkle, especially those curtsies ballerinas make at the end when everyone applauds and throws flowers. Jessica darted out of the kitchen, leaving a trail of Oreo crumbs across the table. Typical Jessica, Elizabeth thought. Elizabeth got a sponge and quickly wiped the table. Then she headed upstairs to her bedroom, dropped her books on her bed, and flopped down after them. She gazed around the room. It was pretty, Elizabeth thought, but maybe a little babyish. The wallpaper was white with pink flowers. The rug was pink, and she and Jessica each had a white spread and pink pillows on their beds. Pink and white, pink and white. Elizabeth didn't even like pink very much. It was Jessica who chose it, and Jessica's side of the room was an unbelievable mess. Sweaters, tissues, socks, chewing gum wrappers, jewelry. Junk was spilling out everywhere. Elizabeth wasn't sure how her twin would be able to unearth her bed that night. With a sigh, Elizabeth settled down at her desk and launched into her homework. She kept on going until just before dinner time, when her mother called her down to set the table. Jessica had to be ordered up from the basement to help make a salad. She kept complaining that ballet was a lot more important than food, and then disappeared again. She came to dinner still dressed in her leotard. "What's this?" Mr. Wakefield asked. "Oh, Daddy," exclaimed Jessica. "We're taking ballet in gym, and I just adore it. I'm the best one. Liz is almost as good." She added hastily, "Maybe you girls would like to take ballet at the dance studio too," Mrs. Wakefield suggested. "That would be nice, Mom," Elizabeth said calmly, while Jessica leaped from her seat. "Are you serious?" Jessica shrieked. Mrs. Wakefield laughed. "Of course I am. I'll call the studio first thing tomorrow." Over dessert, Elizabeth told her parents and Stephen about permission to start a newspaper. "And you know what? It will be the first 6th grade newspaper ever," she finished. "Oh, honey, we're really proud of you," her mother said. "Tomorrow I'm going to ask Amy Sutton and Julie Porter to be on it," Elizabeth exclaimed. "I can't wait." Okay. That's all for this video. Thank you for watching.